because all they do is feed themselves. And you know what's really ironic, Sherry? Not ironic, but sickening. How these Christians that follow the cult of Benny Hinn, they will defend him at all costs.
Yeah.
No matter what Benny Hinn does, they will defend him. And when I have told Christians what Benny Hinn said on the Dateline show, and you know what they said? Oh, Dateline's of the devil. They're faking it. It's not real. It's not real.
You know what these same people will do? If they only took 1/10 of the tenacity that they use to come against us for trying to open their eyes and put it into researching Benny Hinn and exactly what and who he is, you know, they might open their eyes and get out of it, but they won't. They will attack you with all the energy they have, but they won't bother to do some research about the wolf they're following.
That's true. In fact, when you give them facts, they refute the facts in your face. Here's another example. HBO did a documentary on faith healing and Benny Hinn, and Benny Hinn was about 40 minutes of a 1-hour HBO documentary, right? Here's Benny Hinn's own words. Benny Hinn freely admits, quote, "I cannot heal the truly sick, such as people with cancer, AIDS, and heart disease." Hinn adds, "I use hypnosis techniques to make people feel better at my crusades." Now, I have told that to many people who follow Benny Hinn, and they said to me, "Oh, HBO is not of God. That's tricks of the devil." Benny Hinn never said that. That's what they respond with, and then they stand in line for their miraculous healings that never happen.
Yeah, they never happen, and there's all kinds of disasters at these things. I know when he was in Cleveland, there were people rolling around on the floor in seizures at the Nairobi crusade, and we're going to get into that a little bit because I have a clip from that. People died. A baby died. 3 other people died.
This is in Africa, right?
Yeah, he has already settled out of court 3 wrongful death suits.
Right, everything's out of court. He told 3 people, I think 2 had AIDS and 1 had cancer, that they were healed, and the people stopped taking their medication, and they stopped all medical treatment because they put their faith in Benny Hinn, and all 3 died.
Yeah.
And it's just sad. People have to wake up, because not only will these people steal your money, they will steal your soul.
And that's what they're here for, you know. They're here that they have a gospel of enticement, become a Christian, and then you know, you're going to become rich.
Name it, claim it, that's the game.
You know, blab it, grab it.
Jesus' name.
And if you don't get it, it's your lack of faith.
Yeah, right. You don't have enough faith, or you didn't send enough money to Benny Hinn, you know?
Yeah, you didn't have enough. Yeah, it's usually the faith thing they'll throw on you, because what can you argue? Except to say, I have a lot of faith, and say, no, you don't have enough, and so you think there's something wrong with you. And so many people become disillusioned, and you wish that even more so would walk away, but they don't. They just keep coming back and back for more. And how do we know that? Because of the bank accounts these guys have.
That's right. The bank accounts don't.
Money talks.
Right. Sherry, real quickly, the favorite thing about this thing about Benny Hinn and touch not God's anointed. when you talk to Christians or go into a church or go into these Christian chat rooms and you talk about Benny Hinn, the moment you say a word against Benny Hinn, remember, most of these people are just able to make ends meet financially, and this guy's living in gated mansions.
Yeah.
And what they'll say to you, the moment you criticize Benny Hinn, they say, touch not God's anointed. You're touching God's anointed. Touch not the anointed. And what they do, they're taking that from the Old Testament where David said, I won't not kill King Saul because he's God's anointed. You know, but we have to remember that Saul was anointed as king of Israel. Saul wasn't a TV preacher. You know, Benny Hinn is a TV preacher, and he's teaching lies. And to expose Benny Hinn's lies isn't it trying to harm him? It's protecting people and possibly save them.
Yeah, and the reason tonight, folks, we're not taking call-ins tonight. We just want to get through a lot of information on this, is because Benny Hinn could play a real big role in the coming days ahead. And that's what the Lord has us focusing on this tonight, to open awareness. I mean, his judgment isn't always going to stay back much longer. He's ready to judge America. Benny Hinn plays a crucial role in the last days prophecies. From what I have seen in the Bible codes, Benny Hinn could very well be the candidate to raise the Antichrist from the so-called dead. The Antichrist, whoever this person is, going to be, dies. It's not a real death. I've seen coma many times in relation to whatever happens to him. But Benny Hinn has the illusion of raising him from the dead, and he's his pawn. And the Lord gave me a revelation on these beast prophets, quite a while back, and I'm going to get into that in a little bit after I do some more on Hinn for you. But we just want you to realize that these guys aren't just off to make money off of you. They're out to steal their souls. They're going to steal your souls.
That's exactly right. Sherry, don't you believe that when the Antichrist is revealed, all these televangelists that are already teaching a false gospel, they're already doing Satan's work, they will come forward and tell their faithful flock to follow the Antichrist?
Oh, yeah. I was horrified at the sheer revelation months ago. When the Lord gives you revelations to not only open your eyes to something and teach you something, the Spirit quickens you so that you know it's from Him and you feel it. And you feel the revelation, and it sinks into you, and you never forget it. And at the time, I was working on a Bible code for the 144,000 mentioned in Revelations chapter 7 and 14, and I kept seeing the term prophet, and I was thinking at the time, that's not one of God's prophets, because I just knew where it was in this matrix, in this code, that there was no way it was talking about God's prophets. And the Lord gave me a revelation of how today's all the well-known pastors, the evangelists, the TV religious icons, the Robertson, the Copeland, the Crouches, Benny Hinn, Robert Schuller, all of them are going to be work in conjunction with the Antichrist, with the false prophet, to promote the Antichrist as God.
Well, that's exactly true, and you can already see how their faithful flock will almost fight you to the death in defense of these men. So, of course, they will follow what they tell them to believe.
Yeah, and they're all under the control of Lucifer in one way or another. Most of them are 33rd degree Masons, or they belong to some secret society United group. We know that Paul Cain and Mark Joyner and that whole Kansas City Prophet group coming out of there are all Knights of Malta. They were knighted. And when you join that, that's, the Knights of Malta are part of the Jesuits. And the Jesuits are Satan's right-hand men.
Yes, they are, and they all have links to the Illuminati secret societies to bring about a one-world government.
Yeah, well, you look at
Christianity.
We've talked about the Black Pope on this show before, and how he's the real power behind the White Pope. The Jesuits are just the men underneath the Black Pope that take all of their orders from him. That's the top of the pyramid. That's as top as it gets.
And where would you say that Hinn and Copeland fit into this?
Well, Hinn and Copeland. Well, I know that Hinn is a Jesuit. I know that Pat Robertson is a Jesuit. Copeland is a Mason. I don't know if he's a Jesuit. Jack Van Impe, I believe, is a Jesuit. Robert Schuller is a Jesuit. So all of these people, these Jesuits, I don't know how many Jesuits there are in the world. I have this somewhere. There's like 100 and some provincials, and then there's Jesuits divided up into all these provincials. But these men are Jesuits, which means that other than the Black Pope himself, which is Satan's seat, there's nobody else above them. They rank. That's how high top these people are. I mean, you've got the Illuminati and all the secret society groups below them.
And the saddest thing of all, Sherry, is that so many deceived Christians look at these men on television, like Benny Hinn and Copeland, and they call them the anointed prophets of God.
It's pure blasphemy. And if you had to think of it as a military rank, just think of it as the Black Pope being the president and the Jesuits being his generals.
His army.
I mean, that's his generals. Those are the top. That's his cabinet. And that's how he runs the world, keeps it under control, and is getting it all together. So it's we have the one world religion, the one world government, the one world economy, all working together so that when Satan arrives, he can rule the world. Because he's not omniscient or omnipresent. He needs these pawns to get everything in place for him.
And the saddest thing is, Sherry, that these Christians follow these people from their own free will.
It's their own free will, yes.
Even when we show them facts, they refute the facts. And it's important tonight, I just want to say something real quickly, that we're not saying these things about Benny Hinn and Copeland and these other liars because we're jealous of them. I'm always accused. That's another thing they accuse you of. You're jealous. You want the mansions. We don't want their mansions.
What are we going to do? This country's going to burn in 1 hour.
Right. So who wants their mansions? Right. It's like being jealous of a drug lord. Just trying to reach people out there to use your head and think. What we're presenting to you is facts about Benny Hinn. This isn't just things we made up because we dislike him. These are facts coming from his own words. Yeah, I mean, every one of these top leading preachers, and you have to go through. It's been a long-standing, unofficial type thing, I guess, that everybody who's going to make